Hello everyone, Dylan G here, and happy Halloween! This is my first time doing a Halloween episode / review as well. And as you can see, I kinda stopped wearing, the mask. This will be here from now on as a reminder that it's dead. Let it die. Anyway, I also got a Jason mug for the Halloween season and the game loaded up because it's a good backdrop. So, yeah. So what are we talking about? We're going to talk about PC gaming. Or the annoying things about PC gaming. We're going to talk about DRM, bad PC ports, and just awful decisions in general for the platform. And just a little nitpicks about it. We're going to compare it to the consoles, of course, but either way, just want to throw this out. You can play whatever you want. Like, everyone has their preferred platform. This is just a video just poking fun at both of them. So, where do I start? Well, let's go back to when I first started, PC gaming. All the way back in 2013, my dad finally bought a new PC. With this PC, he bought Arma, the whole collection up to Arma 3 at the time, and he got me Minecraft because I've been begging him for a while for it. I didn't know how to use Windows 8 at the time. It took a while for me and my family to actually get used to it. We were forced to get used to it. But after years of using this Windows 8, I played a lot of Minecraft and a lot of Arma. And my dad got DayZ on it, which was awesome, but I sucked at it. My dad mostly played Arma on the computer. The PC couldn't handle anything above medium settings. After the year, I got Battlefield 3 on my PS3. And then afterwards, I got Battlefield 4 on PS3. And then got Battlefield 4 on the PC. And going from Battlefield 4 on the PS3 to the PC to me, it was night and day. Like, the gameplay's smoother, aiming around was easier. I still died a lot no matter what because I sucked. But yeah, the game was a big change for me and led to me being more interested in the platform. Why am I telling you this? Well, I feel like I should give out my reasoning and, how I got into PC gaming in the first place before I pull out all the annoying things about playing on this platform. In this video, I will be comparing my PC to a console, which is the PS4. No, I do not have a PS5 at the time of this recording because, well, all the games that I am interested in won't be out till next year or years to come. So, and also I'm not paying scalpers thousands of dollars just for a console. Anyway, let's go to the video. So you're just starting out, thinking about getting into PC gaming. Well, you have two options for PCs. You can either buy a pre-built PC that is either really subpar for a cheap price of $800 or pay $4,000 for a good one. Or you can build a PC. Or you can buy a very cheap subpar PC and upgrade the parts in it. But honestly, in my opinion, I say building a PC is just the better option for a lot of people because you're in control of what parts you need and how much you need to spend on those certain parts. But there's a problem with this. You have to actually pay attention and do your damn research. Because if you screw up a single part, it could screw a lot of stuff up. Of course, there's certain parts that are more important than others that don't need to be the same brand, but you still need to check if they're compatible. That was my main concern for making my PC. And thank God I know people that knew about PCs. And now since I built a PC, now I know more about PC parts, like our GPU and stuff like that. But the main issue is you can pay for a motherboard that doesn't work with your GPU, which is your graphics card, or your CPU. Or you can buy a motherboard that is not compatible with your 3080 because your motherboard is outdated and doesn't have the current PCIe 4.0 or 3.0. What is that? Well, those are the slots that GPU goes into. And also you have to worry about the power supply and how much voltage you would need for the whole computer. So you have to check how much power your GPU and your whole computer will take up.
My GPU alone takes up 175 watts, and you gotta make sure your power supply goes above what your computer needs. Or exactly, but I would go a little bit above just in case. And your memory, you're gonna need HDD storage or solid state drive, which is the faster option, but it's more expensive since it runs everything so much faster. Which is why most PS5 games load instantly because of the solid state drive. And you can pay for this and you would get the same experience if your whole computer is, parts are decent. And then you gotta look at your setup, where your PC can be. What type of tower you bought a tower that's too small? Well, tough shit. My tower was just barely enough for my PC parts, and you can see it's cramped in there, but it's small enough and compact that I can pack it away, which is an advantage for having a small tower. Or you can have a big ass tower, which is, well, big, and you can constantly put more fans in there to help with the ventilation. So what are you gonna need when you buy a console? Well, you just go to the store, you see a PS4 box that you like, or a bundle, you can either choose it with a game, or not. And then you just buy it, and then you plug it into your TV. Disadvantage of most consoles and PCs is they don't hook up to your CRT. Of course, you're gonna get games that have, like, at least worse graphics and resolution than the PC. I'm only comparing the PS4 and Xbox One. Series X and PS5 at the moment isn't really bad at all. In fact, it's actually good graphics and resolution, but some games are still locked on 30 frames per second, mostly on the PS5's then. PC Pros, obviously you get better graphics and resolution, higher frame rates that most in time the PS5 and Series X won't match. You get some very unique games on the platform, like most indie games start out on PC before they even go on, consoles. And backwards compatibility, that's gonna be an annoyance I will point out soon. Building a PC can either be the scariest thing that you would be doing with your PC, or not. It will be the easiest or the hardest. Okay, whatever way you prefer, you got your PC now. So you boot it up, and hopefully you pick the right OS that you want to game on, probably Windows most likely. And now you have to wait. And wait. Now you have to install your driver that you need for your GPU. Then you have to install the motherboard driver that you need for your motherboard. Then you have to make sure everything works. You have to install everything you need. Steam, you gotta make sure your Windows is up to date. You gotta make sure everything else is up to date. But yeah, with PC, you're going out of your way to install these drivers and such and updating your PC so you can use it to its fullest potential. So when you finally get that out of the way, let's play some games. Let's see, I want to play a Valve game. Okay, cool. It just works. Cool. Let's play... I want to play Warzone, but it's not on Steam. What? Oh, okay, then, so you're probably wondering, where do I play Warzone? Well, you have to install this other launcher called Battle.net. And you have to make an account and shit. And you have to install 220 gigabytes. Are you kidding me? Okay, what about Battlefield? Oh, you had to install another launcher. Okay. Install an Origin. Yay, another launcher to install. So, play Battlefield. As good as I remembered. Okay, so let's play Rainbow Six. Always liked Rainbow Six. Are you kidding me? Another launcher. Ubisoft Connect. Besides the launcher, Rainbow Six Siege plays so much better on PC. God, this game is so much fun. But sadly, that's not the worst of it. There's even more launchers. Bethesda games, you have to make an account. For recent Bethesda games, Fallout 76, for example, which is the one I own. I don't own New Doom or Doom Eternal or such. You have to make a Bethesda account. And it's a Bethesda launcher, just like Rockstar's launcher. Is there any point in making launchers that you just call Rockstar and Bethesda? Like, you're only gonna use those games. Like, I can understand at least Ubisoft because they have other games on there. Hell, even though I haven't mentioned Epic, but at least Epic has other games on there. And yeah, they have some exclusive games on there that's, that stays on there for a year, like Metro, for example. Look, I don't hate Epic for the launcher. I think the launcher is a big basic. I feel like it could use an improvement, but I don't like how they buy a game for a whole year for exclusive, and I have to wait till next year just for it to be on Steam. Here's the thing about it. Having multiple launchers isn't really that good. I just want it on one launcher so I can have my other games on there. It's annoying, but sadly that's what we have to live with. On console though, you just put the game in, play. Oh, well, even then you're still forced to make an account. Whatever. I guess I can let those go, even though they're taking up a lot of space. Yeah, a lot of recent games. Hopefully you got a 2 terabyte storage, because a lot of games today will eat through that storage, because the average new game is around 90 gigabytes. Warzone takes up enough of that already. Red Dead Redemption is 150 gigabytes. GTA is 80 gigabytes. So yeah, a lot of games will eat that up. So you don't want to play multiplayer at the moment. So why not single player? So I'm just gonna get this out of the way. Consoles can play single player with no problem. Like, just put the game in. PCs though, let's say you want to play a really old game, which sadly most consoles can't do now. Except for the Series X. Good job, Series X. Can't wait to play Spider-Man 2 from the Xbox on it. PCs though, you can play really old games like Battlefront 2, classic and not DICE. You can play Prototype, Saints Row 2, I'll get to new Saints Row 2. Stalker, Shadow of Chernobyl, the Stalker series, Spore, Counter-Strike. Well, that's a bit of a no-brainer since it's Valve and Steam, and Steam owns Valve. It's the other way. It's the other way. Valve owns Steam. There's a lot of old games that you can play on Steam, but Steam doesn't have a lot of old games that you can play. That's what GOG is. God damn it, another launcher. But I can't really hate this launcher, because all the old games work. They're like from the Windows 95 era up to the early 2000s. All the old games work. I wish I could say the same for most Steam, old Steam games. So yeah, here's the problem with most games before, the PS4 era. For the PC, they do not make their games for PC in mind. They haven't really. Most companies do not like making games for PCs back then. All it was for consoles. Game companies, for example, still make consoles in mind. I'm looking at you, Rockstar, with your awful port of GTA 4. Actually, most Rockstar PC ports are awful. There are exceptions to GTA 5, because no duh, that has to work if you want GTA Online to work. And just recently, Red Dead Redemption 2. And that's just because they have GeForce help them with the PC port at the end. Just recently. Gotta show off that ray tracing somehow. Most games back then will not work on your PC with better specs. So let's go back to Saints Row 2. Why I'm a little frustrated towards it. That game is single-handedly the worst PC port that I own. Saints Row 2 will refuse to work on your PC. Or it would work sometimes, or not at all. So fans of that game literally have to mod it to work. That's the thing you're gonna notice with a lot of these old games on Steam. The modders will have to make the game work instead of the company patching it. Manhunt, for example, another game by Rockstar, is completely broken. Completely broken. Unless you mod it to work. Good job, Rockstar. The main reason why Saints Row 2 won so badly, they made the game wanting your GPU at a certain clock speed, native to the 360. So what does it mean? Well, your GPU runs the game at a certain speed. Of course, you can force your GPU to run at a very, very slow speed, but that would probably damage your computer. So the further you get away from that speed, whether higher or lower, the worse the performance is. So meaning, the better hardware you have, the worse the game plays. Of course, there's some more infamous PC ports like Batman Arkham Knight, which Steam took down and forced Warner Brothers to actually make the PC port good. There's Watch Dogs, which took a while for it to work on PC, and even then it still had some issues. Lately now, companies have been aiming towards, making games with PC in mind. EA, for example, is making all their games in mind, which I will give them credit for that, even though they do some really stupid stuff. Bethesda, for example, they're one of my favorite developers, like publishers slash developers out there. Do not fault the PC platform for companies not utilizing, PCs. Because you can still do more than just play games on a PC. You can draw, you can do work on your PC, you can, make videos like what I'm doing on here, you can make animations. You can do whatever you want on PC. Anything you want. Honestly, the whole PC versus console argument is a bit redundant at this point because everyone knows PC is better. I mean, the whole specs, of course, an average PC will be better than an average PS4. And it's even in the future, probably even an average PS5 or Series X.
This video doesn't really fit in with the theme of, Halloween, the orange lighting, orange lights and such, Jason mask and everything. You guys probably want something that actually fits with Halloween. I think I have something in mind.